What is up, Jabronis? JJ back here, live talking a little PGA with the boys, Snyder, Mangone, Rob. Before we even, so first of all, Mangone, I like the new background. It's like we've upgraded kind of. So kudos. Must be nice to have money. And Rob, or Bob, I'm not sure what you prefer to go by these days. I'll be honest, I don't really give a shit what you prefer to go by these days because Tony Finau last week, after you decided to put your entire reputation on the line. Look, I want to be clear. I wouldn't have busted your balls if Finau, made the cut, hung around, maybe a top 30, top 40. I mean, what'd the dude land in, like 140th place?
He might have finished in dead last.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be clear that I'm cool with whoever you guys want to say in a given week, but if we're talking a decent week of decent players and we're going to say Tony Finau is going to win the tournament, I mean, come on.
It's getting lost in translation that I gave the outright at the U.S. Open, just to say.
You see, I mean, here's the thing. I'm all for Knobslav and you guys.
I know it was the shock, but
I'm all for Knobslav and you guys when it's well deserved. I mean, I could give the biggest favorite, out, and that's cool. That's fine. Rob's a winner, but you're definitely going to get more shit for a Finau take like that than you will for the praise for Rob. But either way, we're back. It's a new week. No UncleT to bust your chops. I'm sure he'll be back next week for it. Snyder, you want to just tell us a little bit about this course? Because no one typically knows the grass like you do. Maybe Mangone does.
Maybe Hoop does. He's playing it tomorrow. So, I mean, he's going to get the scouting report of how layered the rough is. He'll be able to really feel those poet-like greens. I mean, we're going to get it all from Hoop.
That's right. Really cool. Hoop from RPS over there on the course. I think compliments of DraftKings, is it? I mean, all in all, either way, good stuff. So Snyder, walk us through this course a bit before we talk into some DFS plays.
Yeah, this is probably going to be the easiest course these guys play all year. It's going to be a short par 72 here, wide fairways, easy to hit greens. A lot of guys are going to be bombing and gouging it here. I mean, they're just going to be pulling out driver and hitting as hard as they can because there's very little danger here.
Is it undulated?
I don't believe so. I mean, like Bryson last year, he was hitting the ball as far as he can, but he was hitting the ball to other fairways and still hitting wedges in. I mean, definitely going to set up well for golfers like him, as him and Wolf actually just tore this place up, just hitting the ball 350 yards off the tee, on every tee shot. And it's just going to come down to the putter for a lot of these guys. Hot putters are going to do well here. I mean, you need the score. I mean, the winning score, I'm thinking is going to be right around like minus 25 to even minus 30 possibly. I mean, they've seen a lot more rain here over the last few days than what typically is. So, I mean, that could even help out scoring here, I think, as they'll be able to attack these pins much easier, I think.
So a short course, putting is important. Mangone, does that mean you're in love with Snedeker? I know you're a Snedeker guy.
No, I mean, dude, I'm not a huge Snedeker guy. I mean, maybe I'll dabble here and there, but you won't see me slamming the lock button on him. And let's talk about JJ. I know you love like a little victory lap that you shouldn't take, right? But if you remember, I sat there, JJ, and I said, I'm trying to figure out which guy is my favorite, English or Keegan Bradley. And who did we slam the lock button on? Not the winner. We slammed it on Keegan. So we'll take that L, but I'll also take the W that I was very close to picking the guy who won the tournament.
You see, this is like the fourth week in a row, Mangone, where you've given yourself victory praise for I can't even call it a half-ass victory.
I'm trying my best to keep doing a worse job of doing another victory lap of something I said. So the streak continues. So there we go, JJ.
There was a guy here that did lock Harris English into his 20 max build. I locked in all four chalky guys like these guys says I wasn't able to do. He ran pure and finished second, fifth, seventh in that contest.
Yeah, and you took home what? A little over 12 or 13, right?
I think it was around 15 total. I took down the single entry $100 tournament, and
Snyder absolutely crushed last week.
Yeah, so you love to see it. So let's scoop into DFS, and Bobby, I want to start with you, but you just don't this week in particular. You don't deserve to start first, so I'm going to go with Snyder.
I'm not ready anyways.
I'll go with Snyder. So for DFS, like we usually do, one or two plays that you like Not so much slam the lock button on unless you're Mangone, who's going to give 10 names and then keep his streak alive next week. But whoever you like in DFS.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the guys. I think it's going to be lower owned in this 10K range. And Big Willie Z, I think this course really sets up well for him. He plays these par fives really good. You should be able to attack these greens. Great approach player. He ranks second in eagles over the last 24 rounds. And I think this is a nice breakthrough spot for him to get his first win.
Wow, that is okay. What do you think his ownership is going to be?
I think he's going to be right around like 10 to 15%. I mean, Bryson's going to be the chalk amongst chalk. I could see him coming in. Shit, I could even see Bryson coming in around 40% in some of these events, it sounds like.
Mangone, who do you like for DFS?
Yeah, JJ, so I'm going to stay on brand and not answer your question right away. Snyder, I'm going to ask you this first. I've heard a lot of different things, right? The bombers make a ton of sense here, right? You can bomb and gouge this place. I've also heard a little bit of conversation about how still the approach players are good options to go to. So what is like the key stats that you're looking at? Because I've gone back and forth about it. You look at last year's winners, right? And a great example of this is looking at that leaderboard. And let me pull it up real quick. I had it. I know last year we saw Bryson, right? He won the tournament, right? He was the one who won it. You had Wolf. I think he got second. Then you had Kevin Kisner pop up there, right? Kevin Kisner, a guy that is not a bomber, right? Then you had, I know Matt McNeely was up towards the top. There was another approach player. But when I looked at that top of the leaderboard last year, there was some bombers and then there was some iron guys. So, like, which one is it that you're going to really be targeting? Because I am still struggling with that. And I really want to get your opinion on it.
Yeah, I think you can definitely make a case for both of those type of guys, like a Kisner type. I actually like him quite a bit this week. I mean, he came off that 63 on Sunday that boosted him into the top 5. But the things I'm like really weighing the most is going to be like birdies are better gained, opportunities gained, approach play, off the tee. I mean, birdies, maybe even mixing some par 5 scoring. I haven't quite built my model yet, but those are some things that are going to be in there. I mean, eagles, I might throw that in there for a few percentage.
Cool. Well, so again, now that I got that pick, there's 2 guys I was debating between, right? I've been going back and forth. I like both these guys. I'm not going to tell you the other one. I won't allow that, JJ. I want to make sure the one is on here. That's it. That's all we're going to give you. Also, my guy, Hector, who I give out the play to, he said there wasn't as much confidence last week, and that's why I failed. I was waffling too much, right? So this is a guy Snyder likes to back too. I love Maverick McNeely this week. He's definitely someone that I like him on these courses where you got to score points, right? You got to get buckets. This is not a course where just par is going to win. You can't just sit there and par. You need those birdie streaks. Those are going to add up a ton. Those eagles are going to add up. And also, there were some good quotes about Maverick McNeely talking about this course and liking it. So overall, I think Mav is the guy that I'm going to go to as being one of my favorites in that 7-7 range. Bryson is someone at the top I'm definitely going to be playing. And then I'm really going to mixing in a lot of these guys in these range, right? The 8 and high 7Ks. So that's kind of where I'm at. I really think that my build is just going to start with Bryson, which if you throw him on your lineup, you have 7.7K left. And I think I'm just going to try and live in that like low 8s, high 7s and low 7K range. And maybe I'll do like a sprinkle a 6K guy right out of nowhere, like a Ted Potter, right? That's someone who's had some good course history here, who's a bomber that's 6,300, pretty cheap and can score. So I've looked at those kind of routes so far, and that's really my main lineup construction if we're talking DFS.
Awesome. A lot of juicy names in there. You said you're only going to give one name, and you gave like 7. But
Yeah,
it wasn't bad.
I gave you Harry Potter's cousin, right? So make it 6 then, basically.
Bobby, who you like for DFS?
Yeah, so I like all the guys that hit on Zalatoris, Bryson. I want Webb to turn it around, though. I'm a Webb Simpson guy, so he's the guy at the top that I have the most interest in. He hasn't been right, but we'll see. So he's the guy I'm kind of targeting right now. Could change by tomorrow, but.
Okay, I appreciate the confidence. Here's the play I like now, but that's likely going to change tomorrow. I appreciate the confidence. All right, so let's slide over to now. You said that this is a tournament that requires buckets, as Mangone said. You need to hit your birdies, eagles, whatever.
Yeah, placement doesn't matter as much, JJ, right? Like sometimes like that first place is way more key, but you can be a guy that gets like T25, as the kids say, JJ, and you're actually like the 14th best golfer in the field because of the birdies and the birdie streaks, right? So those are very important.
I love how Mangone said T25s as the cool guy. Like, who the hell says T25?
JSU said it once on a show. He corrected me all show long. So that just like lives on in my head.
I love it. No, I love it. Okay, so your longer shots that have value. I know you mentioned a few names that you were kind of in that lower tier in DFS pricing. Could go back to them, guys. Snyder, I'll start with you. From a long shot perspective, sub 40, 50 to 1 area, who do you think has the most value in this tournament, betting-wise?
Yeah, I like Emiliano Grillo here this week. He's coming off a couple of missed cuts, but I liked how he played last week. I mean, he opened up with a bad round, but he fires right back with the 65. I mean, he lost, I think, right around 2.5 strokes putting that first round, which really killed him, but came back the second round, gained putting. He hit like he hit 83% of his greens, so I really like that. I think he's got a good scoring mentality. He can pop here. We've seen him finish 3 times in the top 10, I think, over the last about 8 events or so. So he definitely has upside for this event, I think, and that's where I'm going. He's at 45 to 1 right now. I've seen.
Awesome, Mangone, who's your favorite long shot?
Yeah, I mean, I talked about McNeely, right? A 66 to 1 guy. I won't just only go with him, right? I'll find you another one here. We're going 50 to 1 or higher, right, JJ?
You can go McNeely. You've done this before. You've gone all in on guys, Mangone.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I like McNeely. Another guy I'll give you. I do kind of want to get some takes from Bobby and Snyder on him, like Doc Redman, right? Doc has been playing a little bit better, rounded into some better form. Not your typical off the tee guy, but a very accurate player. And he got second here, and he got 20th, right? So he has some good course history, and the course history guys are going to struggle, right? Because we only have 2 years of data. So sample size guys are struggling. The course history guys, they don't have enough to look at. So, but Doc Redman, he's a good golfer, and he had a really tough stretch, but he's been playing a lot better. So that's someone who's a long shot. We know he's looking for that first win, and I think Doc could get the job done.
Love it. Bobby, who's your favorite long shot?
I think I'm going to go Chris Kirk, 55 to 1. I like Kirk. I think his game's round into form. He obviously had played well pretty much all year after going through what he went through and stuff like that. So I don't mind going to Kirk here. Rocket Mortgage, lighter field. So I'm on the train.
And I didn't mean to cut you off, but I have a question for you guys. So I look at the pricing here and I see our boy Ricky Fowler in that 55 to 1 mix. Now I know last week the competition was a little tougher. This week, this is a little more of a watered-down field, but the numbers are still up there. I know Fowler's game's like way off, but do you consider coming into this week, they're him to have a little more value, especially since the field is lighter? Maybe this is kind of like a pick-me-up spot for him?
Yeah, I actually like him quite a bit here. I was on the fade last week. He was going to be really chalky, but I could see him bouncing back here really well here at this easier track. He can hit these greens easier, find the fairway easier, and get some momentum going. And he finished, I think, 12th here last year. So I think that's going to be some. He can get some momentum going here, and he could maybe pop even.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know much about him in general, but I do know that he's a better golfer than what we've seen, and this field's a little lighter than last week. So maybe.
There's quite less like trouble here. I think there's only one water hazard on the course, and there's not that much rough, and it shouldn't be that long. So I definitely think he should be able to avoid more trouble here, like he's found and has caused him.
This seems like the typical course for. You guys all knob slob the shit out of Gary Waterland. Why isn't he here, Mangone?
He's actually not a bad play this week. I don't hate it. He's been playing a lot better and like getting back to the old Gary Woodland.
You're playing this right. I didn't realize he was. Whoops.
Oh, he's there. Yeah, he's there. He's not a guy I'm slamming the lock button on or anything. I don't hate it. The price is up though, so he's one of those guys that if you tell me in DFS he's not really going to be that owned, I don't mind it. And as an outright, right? We know Gary Woodland is super talented. 55 to 1 on Gary Woodland. If I told you I don't know, a year ago, Doc Redman's 55 to 1 and Gary Woodland 55 to 1 at the same event, you would say I was crazy. Now, of course, Gary Woodland's had his struggles, but hey, as an outright, I don't hate the Woodland idea.
Okay, cool. Snyder, who do you think wins this tournament now? Yes, Bob, when it comes to you are allowed to say Bryson, but who do you think wins this tournament? I know this is very top heavy in the form of Bryson, and I think another person's about 12. Yeah, so Patrick Reed. So them two are very top heavy. The rest is all sub 20 to 1 or worse. Maybe briefly touch on how you'd approach a tournament like this in general, where it's super top heavy in that respect, with only 2 guys really at the top. And then who do you like to actually win it?
Yeah, and like a tournament like this where it's super top heavy like that, where Bryson's like right around like 7-1. I think I would rather either like load up on him or I would go for like what I'm probably gonna do is like 3 guys in this like 25 to 45 to range and try and get one of those. And I think Zalatoris. I'm gonna keep going with him. I think he's gonna break through here. I mean, if he can get the short game going, I mean the putter has just been absolutely brutal for him, struggling around the greens. But I think with these greens being easier to hit, I think his par 5 game is gonna really explode here, and I really think he could bust through here.
No, but that's a 20+ banger. Mangone, who do you like to win it?
I will say, Snyder, the Zalatoris call is good, right? Because we talked about like I mentioned this a while back, like off the tee and approach, like Zalatoris just crushes. And like that's like such a lethal combination here. And it's his best putting surface. So I love that call. I'll give you another guy not named Bryson because again, he's like 7-1. I mean, he's an amazing option. I'm gonna have him on like most of my teams. I do like some Jason Kokrak, right? At 30-1. Longer guy off the tee. He's someone that he's been playing some great golf, and he can get hot with that putter, right? You need dudes that can get buckets, JJ. You need dudes that can put that in the tin, can get birdies. Snyder said it, birdie or better. I want dudes that show up and they actually make it in the cup. So Jason Kokrak certainly can do that. When he gets hot, he's at the top of the leaderboard. Love him for some top 5s and top 10s too, right? I think you can get a pretty good number on those as well.
Oh, love it. And Bobby, who do you like to win it?
Going last. They took all the good guys. I'm going to go Webb. I like Webb. I think Bryson's the guy that you want to take, but if you're taking someone else other than Bryson, I like Webb.
Now, again, don't attack me for this, but Webb Simpson's a big iron guy, right? Not super long off the tee, probably average, right? But super good with the irons.
It's a good putter.
We can give him credit for one thing. Snyder, correct me
He
if I'm
hasn't
wrong.
been good.
These are what is this course called? Is it the Donald Ross Designs? Is that what it is?
He's on the Donald.
Yeah, correct.
He's like elite on those, apparently, right?
He does really well here. Wyndham is another Donald Ross course. He's had a lot of success there. Definitely think Webb makes sense here for sure.
And I'll give you the quote on him. He had some good quotes. Like he said, where is it? I gotta find it, JJ. It's again. I want to get your perspective on it. I know we like to make fun of Webb, and he had the neck injury, but it's not as bad of a spot for him as you think. So he said, I've always loved it.
Not a bad spot for him at all.
He said, I've always loved the Donald Ross design. I grew up in Raleigh, an hour from Pinehurst, where Donald Ross is famous there. I love playing golf courses every once in a while that you can go make birdies. He likes to get buckets, JJ. Most of the weeks on the PGA Tour, they're very challenging. I don't know. He talks about the greens being consistent, moving all over in directions. He enjoys it. And he says it's kind of an old school dogleg golf course with big trees. So there you go, JJ. That's the Webb Simpson analysis.
See, man, and you're living up to the narrative street sign right behind you. I mean, this is what we bring you out for. It's exactly what we bring you out for.
Hey, man, I'm here for those takes. I'm here to bring you the narrative street stuff that the people, they don't really want it, but they need it.
Snyder, we'll slide over to top 20s. Who's your favorite top 20 look in the tournament? Again, don't be afraid to kind of go all in on some of the same guys you've been mentioning, but who do you like top 20?
Right. I definitely like Mangone's guy, Matt McNally has been my guy I play him all the time on the East Coast in these polo-type greens. He just loves the surface. He's really good, short game guy. The approach is hit or miss from him at times, but, you could get him at plus 360 FanDuel. And another guy I've been riding here lately over the last 3 events is Seamus Power. You could get him at plus 270, and he's off 3 straight top 20s.
Seamus Power. That's the guy UncleT makes fun of the name, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Mangone, who do you like for top 20?
Yeah, I'll give you a guy that we haven't really discussed too much about, and it's a deeper one, kind of like Snyder's. I think Patton Kizzire is another guy that I'm looking at, and he's plus 400, so that's a really good odds one. If you want to look for a shorter odds guy, that looks like there's a pretty good value. I talked about Kokrak, right? I like him. Plus 163 on Kokrak there. I definitely think that's worth a shot. And then Doc Redman, as they say, JJ, whatever happened in the last events, like it's going to happen again. Doc Redman got a 20th or either 20th or 21st, and he got a second, right? So no chance Doc Redman does not get a shot at the top 20. And that's not a bad number there, right? You can get Doc at plus 225.
Nice. Awesome. Bobby, who we like top 20?
I'm going to go Scott Stallings, plus 450 on DK. Just like just a golfer I like to play a lot. I don't know. I like Stallings. He would be him or Pat Perez, both plus 450. I think those are two good values for top 20.
Okay. As always, we'll slide over to the final piece, which is matchups. Who guys you want to back in matchups that you see against relative players, and guys you want to fade against relative matchups or in relative matchups. Snyder, I'll start with you. Who's your favorite matchup guy to target and favorite matchup guy to fade this week?
Yeah, I'm going to look to continue to fade Neiman. I mean, he hasn't been playing that good. I mean, he's been making cuts, but he hasn't been finishing well. And you can get Jason Kokrak as actually plus money versus Neiman right now. I've seen on Bookmaker, you get plus 107 on Kokrak, and I think that Kokrak is the far more superior golfer versus Neiman. And another one I was looking at is you can get Kevin Kisner versus Cameron Tringali. I like Kisner's game here more, and Tringali has been playing all right, just not great recently. And I really like those two matchups. Kisner's minus 103.
Mangone, who are you backing this week in matchups?
Yeah, so I'm going to piggyback off Snyder here a bit. So I pulled up the matchups, and Zalatoris minus 129 against Sungjae Im plus 100. I mean, Snyder, is that one that's got to go in the article? That seems like a strong one. I'm not huge on Sungjae this week, right?
That may have been on my notepad. I just didn't want to give them all out.
All right, so looks like I'm aligned with Snyder. And then I'm going to give one more. I typically don't give Bryson as an outright, but this is the course for him. And I don't see it with Patrick Reed. And, Bryson, I don't know if you guys know the story. Hoop was at the Rocket Mortgage this morning, right? And he saw some guy rolling up in a Benz, right? And who is it? It's Big Daddy Bryson. And he's walking in, and Hoop gets the kids out of the car, and it gets the kids to say, hey, you want to get a picture with my kids? And he's like, yeah, sure, but make it quick, right? That's good mojo right there, JJ. I mean, he took a picture with the kids. Nice. Bryson loves the kids. Pat Reed's a cheater. Let's go with Bryson for just that alone, right?
Love it. Bobby, what do you think for matchups?
I don't want to piggyback on the two of them, but Zalatoris is the guy in pretty much all matchups I'd be taking. Like I said, I like Webb, like Bryson, I like Zally, though. I think he's a sharp call.
Zalatoris. Okay, and I guess we'll go final notes on this tournament. Could be, who you like to win it. Could be maybe your favorite overall bet, maybe a way you're approaching this tournament, whether it's DFS, betting, whatever. So it's not our last notes on the Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be looking to leverage Zalatoris over Bryson this week in DFS and the matchups. I don't think I'm going to pay up for that, or I'm going to back him in any betting. And, I'm going to look at that. I mean, definitely want to look at the guys that are going to be making birdies. If you want to look at the top 5 guys that have made birdies over the last 24 rounds, look at guys like Kokrak. Kazire actually ranks up there. Willett ranks up there. I mean, Grillo, some of those guys. Awesome. And, yeah.
Mangone, who final notes for this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, we're out here watching the Hawks beat down the Bucks. Lou Williams is getting buckets. We want dudes that can get buckets, and Matt McNeely is going to get us buckets, JJ. Very simple.
Awesome. Bobby, final notes, if any?
Yeah, I wouldn't build a lineup without Bryson, Webb, or one of at least my group would be at least 2. I know this isn't a DFS show, but Bryson, Webb, or Zalatoris. That would be at least 2 of those guys in every lineup.
Great. And the best part about next week is no matter what happens, Mangone can say that the streak continues. Another profitable week. But no, guys, thank you for watching. Look, it's July 4th this weekend. So, get yourself out, barbecue, do whatever. But enjoy the holiday weekend regardless. And we'll have content for the rest of the week, NBA stuff with Spread, DFS crew. Guys, you have a DFS show tomorrow for golf?
Yeah. It's 8:30. We moved our Tuesday show to 8:30. So that's because Hoop's doing the event and everything. So we moved to that, and then maybe we'll slide over to the premium, right? So if you want to get in, use the code RPS Heater 25 to get 25% off, or use Get Bets because we're here doing the bets, right? Get you a month of the bet side for free and the DFS. And JJ, as you always like to say, give us 2 thumbs up.
Yes, exactly. Thumbs up if you like the video. First of all, we've had a decent enough of views on these. Get a little more likes. Okay, let's break the carpal tunnel stuff. But seriously, guys, thank you for watching. As always, stay safe, gamble responsibly.